All right. Thank you, Chair Tipton. So I wanted to briefly explain how we got here. So I was the superintendent of schools for the Diocese of Covington. This is pre-COVID. I had an idea or a vision to take one of our 28 elementary schools and repurpose one of our elementary schools into a transitional school for the autistic. And after the child was screened at 3 or 4 years of age, would come to our school, and our ultimate goal was to get them ready to be mainstreamed into public or private education. For various reasons, COVID being one of them, that plan was shelved. I then wanted to, in my district of District 68, to create a private school for the autistic for the same reasons. And due to some other reasons, that was shelved. And then I would call it somewhat providential. Hailie emailed me about her son Shaw, and Shaw is here today with his father Josh and his proud grandparents. And we had coffee, and to me, what Hailie did is rekindled the spirit of mine to do something for children with autism spectrum disorder. So I took it off the shelf and I brought it to Frankfort. And months later, here we are today. Some statistics. So in 2023, 1 in 36 8-year-old children have been identified with autism spectrum disorder, ASD. In general, Kentucky is the 5th least supportive state for raising a child with autism. Other research claims that Kentucky has the 2nd highest resource load in the country regarding autistic individuals, behind only West Virginia, and that is by the National Library of Medicine. The other one I quoted was from the Autism Parent magazine.
Motion on the resolution.
We have a motion and a second. Representative Klein, you can certainly proceed, and we certainly want to hear from your guest.
Thank you. I do want to give a couple shout-outs to some organizations. I want to say in April of 2016, Senate Bill 185 was signed into law, and it authorized the creation of an advisory council of autism spectrum disorder. It's now named the Kentucky Advisory Council on Autism. It is housed in both the University of Kentucky and the University of Louisville. I also want to say something about the Kelly Autism Program doing wonderful work at the Western Kentucky University. And it's been 8 years since Senate Bill 185, and I'm confident that the Autism of Education Task Force is the next logical step to take. It reaffirms the General Assembly's commitment to meeting the needs of Kentucky's growing population of students diagnosed with ASD. Our ultimate goal for this task force is to hear testimony, take research and evidence-based recommendations, write effective legislation, and make appropriations requests in 2026 to improve the school-based support and services of Kentucky students with ASD. And with speaking of school-based support and services, I would like to turn it over to my guest, Hailie.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman and committee members, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. And Representative Kleins, you've been amazing. And on behalf of my family and so many families in Kentucky, I can't thank you enough for your leadership and for being our champion. So again, my name is Hailie Newman, and I'm here advocating for my son Shaw and for all other children and their families in Kentucky diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. We desperately need your support and assistance. According to Autism Parent magazine, like Representative Klein mentioned, who listed state rankings of the best places to raise a child with autism, Kentucky ranks 45th at the bottom in the United States. We're seeking better solutions and resources to support our children in their education and development so they have the same opportunities as every other child in the Commonwealth. I'm a lifelong, proud Kentuckian. I'm a graduate of Highlands High School and Eastern Kentucky University, and my husband is a graduate of Morehead State University. Our careers took us out of state, but after having our beautiful son in Columbus, Ohio, my husband and I decided to move back to be close to our families and to build our lives here in Kentucky because this is our home. As our sweet son grew, we noticed things were different. He was very energetic, like most kids, but was nonverbal, so eventually we started him in speech and occupational therapy. But deep down, I knew something was off, and Shaw was diagnosed with autism when he was 3. It was the worst day of our lives. so much to process and try and understand, along with the grief and the fear of what the future looked like for our son and our family. What do we do now? Where do we go? The same overwhelming concerns and questions every parent has when they get that diagnosis and they don't know where to turn. I've started a local support group of families who felt like they were alone on an island just like us. They mean the world to me, and some are even here today, and I know some are watching. But not all families around the state are as fortunate to have somebody to talk to. When we asked the doctors at Children's Hospital for next steps and resources to help our son, I received numerous Ohio programs, but told there were minimal resources in Kentucky. Lexington, Louisville, and Bowling Green seem to be the only cities with some autism support, and the funding waiver Kentucky has to offer has an extremely long wait list and is really hard to obtain. But that's why we're here today. After much research, we made the decision to enroll our son in a structured play and regimented ABA program called Anchor ABA in Mason, Ohio, which is an hour and 20-minute commute for us. ABA stands for Applied Behavioral Analysis. It's also called Behavioral Engineering. Shaw goes to ABA 5 days a week for 6.5 hours a day. This program adapts and flexes to his progress, and as every autistic child is unique and different. In the year that Shaw has been in ABA, he has thrived. He was nonverbal through age 4 and now is speaking, saying his ABCs, and counting. He's potty trained, and he's learning every day how to be his best authentic self. We even sang Jingle Bells at Christmas this year, and for the first time, he's finally calling me Mama. This program transformed our son's life and gives us hope for his future. Every autistic child in Kentucky should have access to programs and services like this. The assistance they need to help them develop in their critical early years is fundamental. Shaw is now 5 and has 1 more year in this program. As we've worked to prepare him for kindergarten, my husband and I met with our local public school system to discuss resources to continue to help him with his development and special needs. What we found is very concerning. The best our school system will offer our son is only 15 minutes of speech therapy 6 times a month. While they would like to do more for Shaw, they've explained that they don't have adequate financial resources and trained educators. Shaw's current ABA program has their Kentucky license and is willing to continue to work with him and other autistic children in northern Kentucky while they are in school, but the school system said they cannot allow that. This task force could help to change that. Our neighboring states have increased support for their autistic families. Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, and Virginia all offer significantly more resources to assist in ASD education and development. Now, some would say it would be easy for us to pick up and move my family to another state. But Kentucky is our home. It's our son's home. There are thousands of children and families here now that need this support and change. We choose to live here, and we know that this task force can make Kentucky better. Shaw amazes me every day. We believe in him, and we know he will do great things. Every autistic child's journey is different, some harder than others, but they all have so much to offer our society. They just learn and think differently than neurotypical children. We are here today to move this task force forward because we need better programs, trained educators and mentors, and added financial resources in our education system to help these kids reach their potential. Educators need help to develop the next generation of Einsteins, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Temple Grandins, and Elon Musks, all autistic. We hope to build support groups for autistic families and access to pre-K developmental programs to grow these kids and nurture their beautiful minds across our state. On behalf of Shaw, Phoebe, Mitchell, Jack, Sawyer, and every other autistic child and their family in the Commonwealth, we cling to the hope that Kentucky will rise in state rankings as a place to raise a child with autism. I believe in this Autism and Education Task Force. It's the next step in advancing our ASC services in the Commonwealth. Thank you again for your time and support.
Hailie, thank you so much for coming and advocating for your son Shaw and for all the children in Kentucky who suffer from autism. We do have some members with questions. First, we have Representative Bojanowski.
Thank you. Statement more than a question. Hailie, I too am an autism mom. And the memory of the first time that my child, who may not have spoken, said mommy, it makes me cry. So when Brandon was born in 1995, the incidence rate for kids with autism was 1 in 500. Today, the statistic is 1 in 36. This is a crisis, and it is urgent. I do want to bring to the table, I was on a panel on KET, I can't remember if it was last summer or the summer before, and sat with the director of the Norton Children's Autism Center. And here's what he told me. He said that the time between requesting an appointment and getting an appointment for a full diagnosis is 2 years, and that the average age of diagnosis is age 4. My son was diagnosed at 2.5. If we don't do something about ensuring that children who might have autism get the appropriate autism diagnosis, they miss out on supports for their insurance. And then I'm also a special education teacher, and I work with children with autism in elementary school. It puts on the school districts all the burdens of those lack of early interventions. When Brandon was really little, I did a program with a preeminent scholar in autism from Indiana. And I'm trying to decide, like every parent does, what should we do? Should we do ABA? Should we do floor time? Should we do whatever? And what she said is do intensive. I said, what? She said, intensive. Whatever you do, it has to be intensive. And I can tell you on the ground that that is not what's happening in our public schools today. And it's a disservice to our kids, and something needs to change. So I thank you, Representative, for bringing this to the table. I'd very much like to be a part of it. And I send you my power. Brandon's 28, I forget. He's as happy as can be. He went to community college. He has a job. He loves to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dungeons and Dragons. He's a very happy soul. And there is hope that there will be a wonderful life for your son. Thank you. Thank you.
Next is Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank my good friend, Representative Kleins, for bringing this topic to the forefront here today. And ma'am, thank you for being here and what you do. Those of us in South Central Kentucky think the Kelly Autism Center at WKU is the gold standard in this field. So we're very proud to have that at Western. The second phase of that autism journey they have embarked on over the last couple of years is called LifeWorks at WKU. And it's Kentucky's only living and learning program focusing on transition to work and independent living opportunities for autistic young adults. They have an apartment complex there where they live, they stay, they get jobs, they go out and work to try to make them as independent as possible. So that's the LifeWorks at WKU, and I just want to mention to my colleagues that they are hosting a LifeWorks breakfast on February the 6th, 8:45 to 10:30 in room 113 here in the annex. So it'd be a great opportunity to visit with some of the folks from LifeWorks at WKU on February the 6th, 8:45 to 10:30. They'll have breakfast in room 113. Thank you.
Next, we have Co-Chair Truitt.
Once again, more of a statement, and I don't want to. I want to echo what Representative Bojanowski said. Thank you, Representative Kleins, for bringing this to light. Hailie, thank you. I know you made the statement that you feel like you're alone, and I know sometimes it feels like that. But I could have brought 30 to 40 different parents with me from my school this morning who echo those same concerns that you mentioned. Been in education 24 years now, and the change is just, it's amazing how many more students we have that are having some of these issues that Shaw has experienced. And it's one of those things, you know, the people that's been in education as long as I have, we've learned to kind of adapt and see what these students need. But these new people coming in, and these new teachers coming in are not trained, and it's tough. And you know, and it hits every family. It hits us all. I mean, I've got 2 cousins who are labeled with autism, and you know, I've got one of them that's 10-year-old right now, and he's still on a waiver list to receive Michelle P. waiver. And to me, that's just amazing. And I've learned in my studying that there's people that's waiting 17 and 18 and 19 and 20 years to receive any of this help that's out there. So thank you for coming. Thank you for bringing this out. We do need to do something. We do. In Kentucky, we need to do everything that we can to help these kids because, like you mentioned, they're special. They're going to grow up and they're going to be productive citizens. And so thank you. And Representative Clines, I do want to throw out Representative Smith, the gentleman from Knox County, is also working on something. So I encourage you to reach out to him. He's looking at trying to build a school. And so I encourage you to kind of get with him and put your all's brains together and work on this because this is definitely worth fighting for. Thank you.
Representative Timoney.
Thank you, Chairman. And just a brief comment. Representative Clines, thank you for bringing this forward. I'll be casting a yes vote today. I was really excited to make a motion on the bill today. I couldn't wait to get to that part. I didn't want to interrupt you, but you know that as soon as you get that motion, it's I'll be casting my yes vote today for my good friends Ryan and Amber. They have a son, Logan, who struggles with autism, and I know that the battles. I've known him since the day he was born. He's just now saying hi to me, and I love kids, and so that was a major breakthrough for us. But ma'am, you did make one mistake. You referred to Representative Clines as amazing. Tolerable is probably a better adjective. So I don't know, whatever, but just thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing no more members ask questions, we have a proper motion in a second on House Concurrent Resolution 51 that it should pass. Mariah, please call the roll.
Representative Baker? Yes. Representative Ballman?
Yes.
Representative Bojanowski?
May I explain my vote?
Please proceed.
Yes. I vote yes for Brandon and for Austin, who are no longer children, and for Carter, bless my Carter, who is in 5th grade and who needs every support we can give him to have a wonderful, long, productive life. Thank you.
Representative Brown?
Yes.
Representative Emily Callaway? Yes. Representative Josh Callaway?
Yes.
Representative Decker? Representative Doan? Representative Jackson?
Yes.
Representative Lewis?
Yes.
Representative Masseroni?
Yes.
Representative McCool? Representative Rayburn?
Yes.
Representative Rawlings?
Yes.
Representative Raymond? Representative Riley? Representative Timoney?
Proudly, yes.
Representative Truitt?
Yes.
Representative Wilner?
Yes, and thank you.
Chair Tipton?
Chair votes yes. House Concurrent Resolution having received 17 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 pass votes, passes with favorable expression. The same should pass on the House floor. Thank you for being here today. That is the last item on our agenda, and the meeting